So hello mga ka-general, so welcome back to Math Learning. So our topic for this moment is all about the graph of the inverse of a function. So at the end of this lesson, you will be able to letter A, solve inverse of a function, letter B, find the domain and range of the inverse of a function, and letter C, graph the inverse of a function. So without further ado, let's try to find the graph of an inverse function. Okay, the first step, here are the steps. Okay, the first step is to find the inverse of a given function. Okay, to find the inverse of the given function, we need to interchange this x and y. Ano po, this x and y. And also, after we interchange, we need to solve for y in terms of x, and then as we solve the values of y in terms of x, we need to show that the result of our inverse is in the form of f raised to negative 1 of x, as denoted, or para malaman natin na yung sagot natin is an inverse of the original function. And step number 2, we have to create a table of values by choosing the values of x to be substituted to the original function f of x and to the inverse of function f raised to negative 1 of x. Ano po? Pwede tayong kumuha sa x-axis natin, ano po, any, without restriction. And also, we have to create the line of symmetry. Ano po, this is x is equals to y, or y is equals to x. And also, after we create the line of symmetry and to make the table of values, pwede na natin siyang i-plot. Ano po, i-plot natin yung nakuha nating values dito sa table of values, and then graph the ordered pairs found in the table of values. Okay, let's start. Okay, let's start this example. Ano po? In this example, this is example without restriction. Okay, example without restriction. So we have find the inverse of f of x is equal to 3x plus 5 all over 2. So the first step is to change f of x into y. So we have y is equals to 3x plus 5 all over 2. And then interchange x and y. We have to interchange x and y. Okay, interchange natin all over 2. After that, we need to cross multiply. Ano po? Ano yung i-cross multiply natin? Mag-cross multiply tayo para mawala yung denominator natin. So, cross multiply natin yung x and 2. So, we have x, or 2 times x is equals to 3y plus 5. So, we have 2x is equal to 3y plus 5. And then, solve for y in terms of x. So, since hinahanap natin yung value of y, etong positive 5 na to, i-transpose natin siya dito kasama ng 2x. Ano po? So we have 2x minus 5 is equal to 3y. Ano po? Then, find the value of y by simply dividing both sides by 3 para mawala yung number na katabi ng y. And then we have this result. The result is y is equal to 2x minus 5 all over 3. And the final answer will be in the form of f raised to negative 1 of x is equal to 2x minus 5 all over 3. So meaning to say, the inverse of our function is found by f of, so we have this, we have f of negative 1, f raised to negative 1 of x is equal to 2x minus 5 over 3. This will be the inverse of this function. Okay, after we solve the inverse of a function, we are now going to find the domain and range of the inverse of the function. Okay, our domain is, dito natin mahanap plus sa inverse of a function. Eto, dito sa inverse, ano po, yan po yung domain, dyan natin makukuha. So since the inverse of a function has no restriction, and also the inverse of a function is a kind of linear function, So we all know that the inverse, or we all know that the domain in range of the linear function without restriction is the set of any real numbers. Ano po? For the domain, we have the domain. Okay, for the domain, we have the domain of the inverse is the set of all possible values of x such that x is an element of real number. Or pwede nating sabihin na these are the set of negative infinity through positive infinity. Yan po yung magiging domain ng inverse of a function. How about the range? We all know that the range is equal to, okay, ang range natin dito is equal to the domain of f. Ano po? So meaning to say, titingnan natin yung domain ng original function natin at nakikita natin na this example or this f of x sa original function is a kind of linear function. So therefore, the range of this one is also the set of all real numbers. So meaning to say, our range of the inverse of a function is the set of all possible values of y such that y is an element of real number. Kasi wala tayong restriction, ano po, sa denominator, or wala tayong restriction na kinukuha. Or pwede nating sabihin na ito yung set of all possible values of y, this infinity and then the positive infinity. Ano po? Ito yung mga possible values ng x at ng y. Ito naman yung possible values ng x. Ano po? Positive and negative infinity. Next, kailangan na nating hanapin yung table of values, or let's try to solve the table of values. But before that, kailangan muna nating isulat yung our f of x is equals to 3x plus 5 all over 2, and our inverse is f of negative 1 raised to negative 1 is equals to okay, review muna tayo. Since we have, for example, we have these ordered pairs. Ano po? For example, we have these ordered pairs. 1, 2, 3, 5, and then negative 1, negative 2. Etong mga set of ordered pairs na to, our domain is the set of our
domain po dyan is 1, 3, negative 1. And also our range is equal to, ang range natin is, pwede nating kuhain yung 2, 5, and negative 2. Yan yung range natin. And how about the domain of the inverse? How about hanapin natin yung range, domain ng inverse? So ang domain na natin dyan, class, ang domain na natin, domain of our inverse is eto ng range. Ano po? So magiging na siyang, eto yung 2, 5, and negative 2. Ano po? And then ang range natin dyan is magiging ng eto. Ano po? Negative, yung magiging range natin dito is yung domain ng original function. So we have 1, 3, negative. So meaning to say, babalik ka rin lang natin yan as we find the inverse of this ordered pair. So kailangan natin yan i-review para mamaya mas madali tayo magkuha or mag-graph ng inverse of a function.
So using the table of values, pwede tayong magsulat o pwede tayong kumuha ng mga numbers along with the x-axis. The values of x along with this x-axis, we have negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2. Mas maraming points, mas maganda. Pero eto muna yung kunin natin. Ano po, kasi without restriction naman. So kahit alin yung points sa x and y axis pwede natin kunin. So let's start with negative 3. Okay, kunin natin ang mga values ng f of x. So pag sinabi natin f of x, eto yung gagamitin natin. Ano po, the 3x plus 5 all over 2. So we have f
of negative 3. So we have f of negative 3 is equal to 3 times negative 3 plus 5 all over 2. And the result will be how many? We have negative 4 over 2 is equal to negative 2. So the result is negative 2. Next we have f of negative 2. So we have 3 times negative 2 plus 5 over 2. And the result of that is negative 1 over 2 or equals to negative 0.5. So that is negative 0.5. And next we have f of negative 1. F of negative 1 we have 3 times negative 1 plus 5 all over 2. So the result will be positive 2 in numerator and 2 sa denominator. So we have 1. Okay, next is f of 0. is equal to 3 times 0 plus 5 all over 2 is equal to 5 over 2, and also it will be equal to 2.5. 2.5. So 0 and 2. Dito, 2.5. Next, we have f of 1. Okay, we have f of 1. F of 1 is equals to 3 times 1 plus 5 all over 2. So we have 8 over 2 is equals to 4. So we have this 4. Next, f of 2 is equal to f of 2 is equals to 3 times 2 plus 5 all over 2. So that will be 11 over 2 or equal to 5.5. So we need to say we have 5.5. So that is the result.
Okay mga ka-general, so since we already solved the values of f of x using the values of x, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2, okay, let's take note of that. Ano po? Let's take note of that. So para mamaya, let's compare the result of f of x to the inverse of f of x. Ano po? So let's take note of that. So we have, ilagay natin siya as ordered pair. So we have
This one, negative 3, comma negative 2, and we have negative 2, comma negative 0.5. Then we have negative 1, comma 1. We have 0, comma 2.5, and 1, comma 4. And then we have 2, comma 5.5. Let's take note of that.
because later on, nagagamit natin itong points na to while plotting. Ano po? Okay. And also, we all know that the range and domain of this one is negative 3. Yan, mga ordered pairs is meron ng range and meron ding domain. Also, kapag nabaliktad natin yung place ng domain and range, magkakaroon tayo ng inverse of our range or the inverse of our function. Ano po? So, ito yung inverse ng anong ito. Ito yung magiging inverse ng ordered pairs na to. So, we have negative 2,
negative 3, and also we have negative 0.5, 0.5, and then we have negative 2. Also we have 1 and negative 1. Also we have 2.5 and 0, and we have 4, comma 1, and also last, we have 5.5, comma 2.
So, ito yung f of x. Ito naman yung inverse. Ito naman yung inverse value natin. Ano po? So, take note of this one. Okay. To fill this value, f raised to negative 1 of x, we need to substitute the value of x in this given. Eto, in this given. So, let's try to solve. Para malaman natin yung values ng f raised to negative 1 of x. So, eto, solve muna natin to. Okay, we have f of negative
3 equals to 2 times negative 3 minus 5 all over 3. We're going to use this function. Ano po, yung inverse na nakuha natin. Etong function na kailangan natin yung gamitin. Okay, the result of that will be negative 3.66. Ano po, the result of this one is negative 3.66 or 3.67. Okay, 3.66. And also we have f of negative 2 is equals to 2 times negative 2 minus 5 all over 3. And the result of that one is negative 9 over 3 is equals to negative 3. So we have negative 3. And also in negative 1, f of negative 1, we have 2 times negative 1 minus 5 all over 3 is equals to negative 7 over 3, or it is equal to negative 2.33. So we have 2.33. And also we have the f of 0. We have f of 0. So we have f of 0. F of 0 is equals to 2 times 0 minus 5 all over 3. So it will equal to negative 5 all over 3. Or the result will be negative 5 over 3 is negative 1.67. Okay, we have the result of 1.67. Negative 1.67. Next we have Okay, let's repeat this one. Negative. Okay, negative 1.67. Ano po? Next, we have f of 1. The value of x is equals to 1. We have f of 1 is equal to 2 times 1 minus 5 all over 3. And the result of that will be 2 minus 5. 2 minus 5 all over 3 is equals to negative 3 over 3, or this is equal to negative 1. Right here, we have negative 1. And also, the last one, f of 2 is equal to 2 times 2 minus 5 all over 3. So this will equal to 4 minus 5 all over 3. Okay? All over 3. And this will equal to negative 1/3. Or, in the decimal form, para mas madali natin siya i-graph mamaya, so we have negative 0.36. Repeating siya, pero I will take the nearest hundredths of the decimal. So we have negative 0.33. Okay, repeat.
Okay, after that, we can now able to plot. Ano po? Pwede na natin siyang i-plot doon sa grid line natin or doon sa Cartesian natin. Ano po? After we plot, kailangan na natin siyang i-graph. Pero before we graph, kailangan natin i-plot muna yung line of symmetry natin. Ano po? Showing that x is equals to y and or y is equals to x. So let's try to find that. Ito na yung Cartesian natin. So the first thing that we need to do is to plot dun sa natin step. We need to graph or plot this y is equals to x. Okay, this will be our x is equals to y. Okay, this line will be the line of symmetry. So this is y is equals to x, or x is equals to y.
Okay, the second one will be to graph or plot the ordered pairs found in our f of x. Ito. In the table of values, we use these ordered pairs. Ito, yung nakuha nating ordered pairs dito sa dalawa, ito na po yun. Okay, let's try to graph that ordered pair. Yung original function natin, ano po, i-graph natin siya. So we have 3 and negative 2. So we have positive 3 and negative 2. Let's put different color. Okay, let's make it red. 1. So we have negative 3 and negative 2. So we have negative 3 and negative 2 right here. We have negative 2 and negative 0.5. So right here, negative 2 and 0.5 right here. And also we have negative 1 and positive 1. So right here. And also we have 0 and 2.5. 0 and 2.5. And also we have 1 and positive 4. Positive 1 and positive 4. Okay, I'll use these ordered pairs. Ano po? I'll use these ordered pairs to plot. And last we have 2 and 5.5. Positive 2 and positive 5.5. So dito. Since without restriction na kinukuha natin, so pwede natin mag-draw ng line with arrow. Ano po? Kasi without restriction. At kumuha lang tayo ng mga values ng x para malaman natin yung initial graph. Okay, we have this initial graph. O initial point. Ano po? Pero yung arrow natin na line is continuous to infinity. Okay, we have this graph for
The original function. This is our original function. F of x is equal to 3x plus 5 all over 2. Now, hanapin naman natin yung graph ng ating inverse of a function. Okay, our inverse of a function, we use different color. Okay, anong color kaya yung ginawa na? Okay, orange. The orange one.
ano kayo mga ordered pairs na nakuha natin in solving the inverse of a function. So we have negative 3, negative 3, and negative 3.67. So negative 3 and negative 3.67. So dito siya. So right here. And also we have negative 2 and negative 3. Negative 2 and negative 3. So right here. Right? When plotting po, uunahin natin kunin yung x. Ano po? X muna and then locate it into y-axis. Ano po? So negative 1. Next is negative 1 and 2.33. So right here, 2.33. And also we have 0 and 1.67. 0 and 1.67. So nandito siya. And then also we have 1 and negative 1. So nandito siya. And also we have 2 and 0.33. 2 and 0.33. So right here. Yan. And also pwede na natin siya
graph. Ano po? Let's try to graph by inserting some arrow. Orange one. Okay, as you can see, kung napapansin nyo class, yung f of x natin at inverse of a function is a reflection of each other. Ano po? So nag-reflect sila along with its y is equals to x or x is equals to y as our line of symmetry. So kung ano po yung distance ng line dito is also equal to the distance of our inverse function. So eto po yung points na nakuha natin gamit ang ating inverse of a function. So now, how about eto naman yung points na nakuha natin to our original function. Ano po? By substituting the numbers negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. How about let's try to locate the inverse of these points. Ano po? So, ang inverse natin ng points na, for example, this one. This point is equal to 2 and 5.5. Let's try to locate that. I-inverse natin. Kunin natin yung inverse nito. So, magiging na po siyang 5. Magiging na siyang, okay, 5.5 and 2. Yan yung inverse ng ordered pair na to. And then, locate natin siya. So, we have 5.5 nandito and then 2. Okay, as we locate 5.5 and then 2. So, nandito siya. So, nandito po siya. Okay, ulitin natin yung line. Yan. Okay, para mas accurate siya. Ano po? Okay, lakihan natin. Okay, next. So, ibig sabihin, yung inverse ng point na to is this one. How about this one? So we have here 1 and 4. So the inverse of 1 and 4 is 4 and 1. Let's try to locate 4 and 1. We have 4 and 1. Okay, exactly, we have this point. 4 and 1. So this is 4 and 1. And also, they are equal distance with its line of symmetry. And also this one. Oh, they are equal in distance. Okay, so that will be the graph of our inverse function together with the original function and then the inverse of a function. Ano po? Kailangan natin gamitin yung line of symmetry, or yung y is equals to x and x is equals to y, para malaman natin kung sila ba talaga ay is an inverse of the function or kung sila ba talaga ay magre-reflect sa kanila or magre-reflect sa bawat isa. Ano po? Kung gusto nyo, pwede nyo yung gamitin yung mirror. Ano po? Kuha kayo ng mirror and then ilagay nyo dito sa line of symmetry. Then, as you trace that line, makakaroon kayo ng reflection dito sa kabila. Ano po? Okay, magkakaroon kayo ng reflection. So, that is on how to graph the inverse of the function. Ano po? So, etong mga etong 2 and inverse, yung inverse nito is nandito, so nandito natin siya mahanap. Yung kanina po, ano po, yung kinuha nating ordered pairs, ito, yung ordered pairs na to, they are inverse. Ano po, yung inverse ng f of x or inverse ng ordered pairs na to is nandito na. Ano po, kung napapansin nyo, yung 2 and yung 2, 5.5 is inverse of that is this one. At na-plot natin siya, nandito siya, ano po, yung 2.5, eto, and also yung 5. Hindi 2.5, yung 2 and 5.5 is nandito, at yung ano naman, yung 5.5 and 2 is nandun sa baba. Okay, nandito siya. Yan. So you have this one. So that is, okay, nandito siya. So that is on how to graph this inverse of a function.